Oh, those Miami Heat, man. They are a tough team, Eric. They've done it every series now throughout the playoffs when we want to discount them a little bit. You played them in the first half in game two, but they were able to get the job done overall in the game with an incredible fourth quarter. Thanks so much, everyone, for hanging out with us again on Fast Break Bets. We're going to talk about NBA Finals Game 3 as they head back to Miami today. Eric and I will give you a couple of our plays. We'll also talk about Thrive Fantasy, a place where you can play some fantasy. You can also wager on props. We'll take a look at the betting lines over at DRF Sportsbook. We encourage any of you in the state of Iowa right now, head on over to DRF Sportsbook and sign up. We have a promo code FAST1000 that will give you a $1,000 deposit match bonus when you deposit up to that point. Fast 1000 anywhere in the state of Iowa. They will be coming to more and more states soon. So, Eric, buddy, give us some of your overall thoughts after game two, series tied up.
Nuggets they're a weird team. It's almost like they weren't respecting the Heat. They're a little shocked with how the Heat got out to a 10-0 lead, but then they went on a run. They're up in the second quarter. Still can't believe I didn't get that plus 5.5. Boom, that was a little upsetting, but is what it is. Third quarter came out on fire. Fourth quarter, they're up by 10. If it wasn't for Duncan Robinson, scored 8 in the fourth, I really think they would have lost that game. Weird game. And you kind of have to think of it like this. They just didn't allow Denver to shoot threes. Denver had 28 threes, and I believe 15 of them came in transition or offensive rebounds. So that's not off the set pieces. They're a team that likes to shoot a high volume three. Going to be interesting to see how Malone counters that, and what is going to be what's the next chess move piece going to be? Because Spoelstra has this thing. A lot of people give Spoelstra credit for doing all these moves. His moves happen early, then he just kind of goes with them, or he'll go back to what he had originally. So he doesn't really adjust. It's more, okay, let's do this. Okay, let's go back to what we were doing. So I think he kind of showed his hands, and I really don't know when push comes to shove how much more.
If there's another move,
how much more he can get out, just because of how much the Nuggets bring to the table,
and because that move, two things have to happen as a coach, Eric. Right, like you can make the adjustments, but then those players have to perform. Right? If you make the adjustments and those guys have the open shots like the Heat have and they're not hitting them, there's nothing Spoelstra can do about it. But he made the adjustments and they hit all their threes. They shot incredible, and that's the mark of a good team. Like you said, though, I don't know if it's sustainable. There were a couple insane statistics. So the Heat started the fourth quarter 9 out of 10, which is unbelievable. They went 9 10 to start the fourth quarter. So this was a tweet from John Schumann, who's an advanced stats writer for NBA.com. He had the Heat with 36 points on 19 possessions in the fourth quarter. So that rate is 189.5 per 100 possessions. That was the most efficient fourth quarter for any team in any game this year. That was the 10th most efficient quarter overall this year. So think about that. Teams have scored 50 points in a quarter, right? And of every quarter of every game, this was the most efficient fourth quarter in game 2 of the finals when you're down by 8 on the road and you needed it more than ever.
Props are due. I mean, they're making shots.
But you got to make them prove it.
Nuggets did miss a lot of open looks. And, with all that being said, I'm on the Nuggets. I got him at -2. I'd still play him up to 3.
Yep, and I played him first half, Eric.
49% from 3, making 17. Gabe Vincent had his career game. Bam, when you look at Bam on both sides, phenomenal game, top to finish, start to end. Duncan Robinson, career fourth quarter. He scored 8 in a quarter in the NBA Finals in a must-win. And then on the flip side, Porter, worst game of the playoffs. KCP, worst game of the playoffs. And
Murray
Murray
was, yep.
had a bad game. And with all that being said, Denver was up by 10 in the fourth quarter and had a chance to tie the game in the last possession. With all that being said, like
everything.
they still had it. Shot quality actually graded this a 108 to 97 win for the Nuggets. I'm banking on some positive shot regression here and the Heat to kind of come back to earth. And one thing and other people need to remember is the Heat haven't been home now for I think it's 10 days now. They haven't been home because they went up to Boston. They left Boston on Sunday
and they went straight to Denver
Sunday, the day before Memorial. No, was it Saturday? Whatever day it was, Saturday, whatever. So they probably left Friday. Oh, it's almost been 2 weeks then when you think about it like that because they played on Saturday. So they left Friday, played Saturday, went to Denver, was in Denver, and then probably came back home right after the game. So it's close to 2 weeks. That's a good time to fade them just because, I mean, just coming home and the relief, that first game back after a long road trip, I always like to fade a team. So I'm going to be on the Nuggets here. You know, I got them at 2. 3 is my break-even point. Anything higher than 3, if you missed it, if it gets to 3.5, I want to play it.
Yep, I went first half. And I'm going, because of like the shooting that we're talking about, I'm going team total under 106.5 for the Heat. When you shoot so well in a game like that, I'm going to play the regression that they're just going to come back a little bit this game. It's really interesting too, because you and I both jumped on Porter Jr. in a different way. You're going to go over the 2.5 threes, and I'm going to go over the 7.5 rebounds. It actually bumped down, and it's now to plus. He played the worst game that he's played in a while. It's funny, you and I were talking about how all the improvements that he made before the last game, and then he went out and he made us look stupid because he played his worst defensive game in a long time. And he kind of talked about it after, though, and he said it was our fault. We just missed a lot of assignments. You could see that he just looked a little bit off, and they said that they worked on it in practice. I think him and KCP were both like they were having a tough time communicating in their switching and stuff because they were fouling like crazy.
I heard like some crazy stat, like it was 11 for 12 free throws and KCP fouls while attempting a 3-pointer. Something crazy like that.
So those are things that are going to come back a little bit too. Those guys have heard now for the last few days, especially Porter Jr. So I'm going the over 7.5 rebounds. He had 6 and he only played 26 minutes. Like he would have gone over his rebound total last game.
He missed some assignments and, you know, Malone just totally snagged him and was like, dude, you're done.
Yep.
I played the over 2.5 threes. My thought process is this. We've actually seen history in this NBA Finals. We've seen the worst shooting percentage through 2 games from a player that's at least shot 15 3-point attempts, and that's Mr. Michael Porter Jr. I am banking that somebody that is getting 11 3-pointers a game, 8.5 3-pointers a game on average attempts is going to go back to his norm of shooting 41%. During the season, when you look at it for the season, he also shot higher percentage, 42% compared to 40% road versus home. So he does shoot better at home, on the road. I'm just banking for some positive shooting regression. He got some open looks. I'm going to bank they start throwing in. I played the over 2.5 threes. I also put a little bit on 3+, 4+, and 5+. Kind of do that little ladder if you want. And also you can find plus 550 for Porter to hit the first 3-pointer of the game. I played a little bit of that too.
So Eric and I both playing Porter in different ways. Eric, just the principle in me, based on 2 games, this number has shifted from 16.5 to 8.5. I had to play it. Caleb Martin point total is now back down to 8.5. Remember what was the series average? 15?
15.4, and he scored 6.
And in game 1, his game 1 individual game 1 prop total was 16.5. And now in 2 games, it's gone all the way down to 8.5. And now he's home. And for some regression, if he just gets a few more shots and he's a little bit more comfortable, honestly, just how much this has moved, I saw it and I really had to play it based on value. Like he could come out and hit a couple threes here and easily hit this number. So I'm going over the 8.5 for Caleb Martin. He wasn't 100% obviously in his last game, but we knew the regression was coming. Now, when you see the lines move that much, now you can kind of get back involved again, because we were noticing that those numbers shouldn't have ever been up at around 15, 16, like ever. No. So Caleb Martin over the 8.5 for me. Eric, Thrive Fantasy is the place to
I got
play.
one more.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, pull, please.
I got Mr. Gabe Vincent under 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I wanted to play the points here, but it was at 13.5 minus 125. So I just decided to play the PRA just because I get a little bit more leeway. He's not much of a playmaker. He's just, even though he's their point guard, they don't run the offense through him. The offense is run through Bam and Jimmy. His potential assist very low, potential rebounds very low because he's out guarding Murray on the perimeter. So I just played this. That way I got a little leeway. I'm just going to go back to him regressing because I don't mean to be mean. He's not the quality of player that he's showing right now.
No.
That's basically it. He's not the quality of player that he's showing. I mean, he's a hell of a player. Playing the NBA, you're good. But to be at this level, to be a starting player, getting this much street cred, getting this much respect from the books, he's not there yet. So I played the under 19.5.
And what happens, Eric, is that we start to adjust, right? The guys on Denver now, they're human. They're going to adjust to him a little bit more because when you're playing Miami, like initially you're cheating off of someone like him more because you're focusing a little bit on Butler. And then Bam started playing well. So maybe you're helping out on Bam a little bit more. Vincent, someone, Caleb Martin, they were probably worried about stopping him coming off of his last series. Vincent was one of those guys that was getting more looks. And now all of a sudden he's been going off. Now you're not going to let him get that space anymore. It's going to be more difficult. Is he going to be able to make contested shots or shots with pressure on him? I'm not sure. Let's quickly head over to Thrive Fantasy. Pull up the website, deposit however much you want. Anything over $25, between $25 and $250, you'll get a match deposit bonus when you use the promo code GINO, G-I-N-O, 4 times rollover. And what's great, if we bet a parlay here with the props, we can play these in like California and Texas because they come up as contest format and they pay better than if we played the parlays anywhere else. They actually have a promo boost for Jimmy Butler today. Eric, what are your plays or play today over at Thrive?
Very simple. I went with the Vincent under 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And then I also did Mr. Michael Porter over the point total over. Excuse me.
So Michael Porter Jr. on the point total over, which is 14.5. We've got also Gabe Vincent, the 19.5 points, rebounds, assist. I will also be rolling with Porter Jr. on the points total there, 14.5. That one for me. And we had my other one. I'm going to go Martin, the 12.5 points and rebounds. So a couple different prop for you. You can parlay them. Remember, you can't parlay same teams. You can parlay players on different teams. And we will be back here for you to talk NBA Finals Game 4 just a few days. Eric, good luck in all your plays, buddy. Thanks so much again, everyone, for hanging out with us. And we'll see you again in just a few days.